Okay, welcome to Yomicast episode 5. We're going to be talking with Garcia today. We've just finished Watered Weekly number 4 as well, and the winner of that was Die My Darling, playing Valerie. So a big welcome to him.
Hi.
And we've got our usual vivafringe, and we've also got Lofobal and CWheezy joining us as well.
Hi.
Hello.
Yo, what's up?
Right, so we'll just start off with a quick interview with Die My Darling. So how are you after the tournament?
Pretty good. Pretty relaxed.
Yeah, it was a really, really long tournament, especially for me. But since you went onto the winner's side, you got a bit of time to rest, didn't you?
Yes, plus it's only 7 o'clock in the afternoon in the night where I am, so I'm not tired.
Hey,
Right,
we're
so-
time zone buddies. Sorry.
So you were playing Valerie. Just give us tell us why do you play her?
Because she gets a bad rap.
Oh, so you're just trying to make her look better, are you?
Yeah, I guess so. I see the tier lists and I see she's on the bottom, and I think she can hold her own.
Yeah,
I think
mean,
she might like being on the bottom, though.
I don't think she's actually bottom. I mean, in the last couple of tournaments we've had, there haven't been many graves at all, if any. This today there wasn't any at all, and I think the landscape just changes without him.
Yeah, I do think Valerie gets a lot stronger with Grave. Basically soft banned.
Does that mean I have to start playing again?
No,
I
you're
think
still
so.
banned.
So I'm curious, Die My Darling. You lost the first match to Fisheatcorn, I think 1-2?
No, it was 2-0.
2-0. And then you came back and were able to win the final match. So what adjustments did you make from when you got, creamed to when you actually won the tournament?
Well, I had to make adjustments each game because, of course, I lost 2 of those 5 at the end, so I was still making plenty of mistakes. So I didn't make any big changes. I just had to make small ones every time I got my ass kicked.
I see. Give me some examples.
I believe it was the first time I lost in the final set of 5. I just kept going for throws and getting my face kicked in. I thought it was a good strategy. It wasn't. Fish likes to stick by his guns. He doesn't just change on a whim. So I had to adapt to that.
Yeah, I'm pretty mentally strong, so sometimes I would just say no, and you just can't make me change my mind. But I think you definitely figured that out at some key moments, and you really took advantage of it.
Yeah, I managed to get some hits in there.
So you've played a lot of Valeries, probably. What advice do you have to other people who want to play that character? In other words, what do you think your edge is that you're doing right that other people aren't doing right?
Well, I think it has to do with the expectations. Everybody thinks that you can only play Valerie one way. You got to block until you get a big hand, and then you use the big hand to hit the opponent really hard. And since everyone's expecting that, they're all going to play to that. So I don't charge up for a big hand. I use aces and queens liberally, and I'll do a normal combo when I only have 4 normals in my hand because that's good enough for me.
I've actually heard Sage saying he likes to play Valerie like that as well. It's a little more loose. It does definitely has some merit.
Plus,
Sorry, you go on.
when you have a huge hand, it's obvious what everyone's going to be expecting. They're going to be expecting you to go for the regular attacks and hit with a lot of normals. So I don't even try to save up that big hand. And of course, it's dangerous playing with a smaller hand, but that's the beauty of a aces.
It also probably makes you more robust against jokers, which is really nice to have.
Yeah, I mean, Die My Darling, he was never scared of my bluffs or jokers, and sometimes I did bluff, and he just went ahead no matter what. And sometimes he'd run into jokers, but overall it paid off.
The only difference is when I play Valerie, when somebody jokers, I'll just use all my normals because it's still worth getting the ace power-ups. I won't blow any of my face cards. If they don't joker, then that's when I'll unleash the jack so that for the aces.
And Ace, the chromatic orb combined with burst of speed is really useful as well.
Yeah, it beat his dragon thrust or whatever the hell it's called a lot.
Yeah, I just could not get around it. I queen with T with Glimpse of the Dragon so many times, and just to have it beaten by Ace with burst of speed, it was horrific. So
I have a question. We can kind of use you as a surrogate Sotek, since Sotek doesn't have Mumble. What do you think are the main tools to fight against Lum in the Valerie versus Lum matchup?
Well, unfortunately, I don't play against competent Lums all that often, so I don't have tons of advice. The only thing is, at the beginning, maybe I'm playing it wrong, but at the beginning, I'm not terribly scared of his throws, because if he throws a lot of his cards to do the little pumps on the throws, then he's left with not much left. So I kind of tend to block more often against him at the beginning than against most other characters.
anyway, what about his recurring face cards? What do you think about them?
They're obnoxious, especially since he can get them back even on block. Unfortunately, I don't really have an insight or a solution on that. I just kind of feel the matchup, and when I have an idea of what he has in his hand, try to play around it. I don't have any brilliant insights there.
Beat them with a faster attack.
Yeah, play Ace attack.
Hey, that's a good idea. I'm gonna write that down.
Or Queen. This is Queen.
You can just block it. Or dodge into, I don't know.
Dodge into...
Exactly.
Basically just win combat is the main thing you should do.
That's
If
good
you
idea.
win every exchange, you'll probably win the match.
I've heard
Probably,
that. I've heard
though.
that.
Not guaranteed.
So how do you feel about Poker Flourish as well? How do you think that affects you, besides the obvious damage?
I've not played against anyone who I've heard Garcia is the master of setting up some great poker flourishes, and I haven't played against anyone who's really great at it. What they try to do is discard a couple aces, so they have the 4 aces on top, and then discard 1 for the blackjack, and that's a cost of 3 aces plus a 10 for maybe you might not even hit me because you might draw a joker or something and blow your blackjack. So hopefully he has a better setup than that, because every time somebody does that, I get happy.
It should only take 2 aces, because you only need 1 ace in the discard, and then 3 in hand for the 4 of kind, and then you discard 1.
He's saying when they do the power-up thing.
Well, I'm sure we'll see plenty of that from Garcia later in the match.
Yeah, when people have 3 aces in their hand, they discard 2 to find the last one, and then they do the poker flourish, is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. That doesn't seem very efficient.
It's
It
not.
is actually.
A lot of people do it.
Unfortunately, we
But it's
don't
a
really
lot
have
of
that
fun.
many
That's
good
the key.
lums.
Garcia is actually the only player I've seen who can consistently do the straight flush. As consistently as you can call how often he does it, but it's a lot more than most players do. For example, when I play, I never get the straight flush.
Yeah,
It's a lot more
I
than
just
never.
go on, Wheezy.
No, yeah, he does it almost like once a game, it feels like, whenever I play him.
I think he said something like, in his thread, he said something like a quarter of his games, maybe a third. I don't remember what he said, but it's not all of his games, but it's much more frequently than most players get.
Yeah, so thanks for talking to us, Di, my darling. We hope you stick around to watch the game, but we're going to go speak with Garcia now to get his take on the matchup.
Sounds good.
Yeah, and congratulations for winning Watered 4.
Yeah, congrats.
Thanks.
Hi, Garcia.
Hey, what's up? Congrats to my darling for winning the tournament too.
Yes, so how are you today?
I'm pretty good. I just woke up and I'm eating some food right now.
Right, so you're fresh and raring to go to beat Sotek?
Yeah, I don't know whether I'll win or not, but I'll play to the best of my ability.
Good. So can you tell us a bit about your history with Lum?
Actually, Lum is my. I used to play Lum a lot in the development phase, and then later on I switched to playing Geiger. And now, because there are a lot of good Geigers, but there aren't that many good Lums, I've decided to play Lum a bit.
I mean, what I heard from some people is that you just can't play any other character besides Lum. Like, I heard Watered said you tried to play Grave and just failed at it.
That's very true, and I can only play two characters to a somewhat competent level. I'm okay with Geiger and Lum, but I've tried all of the other characters and none of them really seem to click with me.
Why do you think that is? What about your style do you think these characters really take from that makes you good at these characters and not other characters?
For Lum, I think Lum is very valuation heavy, so that's something I'm good at. And also, he's he doesn't need that much Yomi. For example, sometimes you don't need to win every combat. If you just get a block versus a block, then you win a lot. But then a lot of the times the opponent doesn't realize that, and so you can actually win a lot of combats, and he thinks it's even. On the other hand, Geiger, he has a lot of safe options, and he can also do a lot of damage. So it's actually a similar style to Lum. It's just Geiger gets it off in one big combo, while Lum does it in several attacks.
What about a character more like Jaina, who also tends to grind out and has things like safe dragon punches, or relatively safe dragon punches, and also is relatively evaluation heavy? What about her makes her more difficult for you to play?
For Jaina, I don't really like to attack too much because I think a block attack is really bad for basically all characters, and Jaina seems like she needs to attack more often than not. And I'm not too good with the valuation part of the life and cards for Jaina because I'm not too clear on how she can translate a big hand into damage in various situations, whereas I understand that for Lum, for example.
Okay, cool.
Right, Lum has quite a lot of tools for converting those cards into damage. Can you tell us a bit about your strategies with Poker Flourish?
Sure. Poker Flourish depends on the matchup. For example, against Valerie, most of the time I'll be going for the straight flush, and if I fail to do that, I'll go for the four of a kind. Whereas against, for example, Argagarg, I would almost always go for the flush. Grave as well, because then you can trade cards favorably with the opponent. And for the Grave, for example, sometimes I use a straight to switch for a Joker because the Grey is really vulnerable to Joker bluffs. So it's actually not a one-size-fits-all strategy. I think it very much depends on the opponent and also on how many cards the opponent has.
Yeah, that's really good. I don't think a lot of Lums have really gone into the valuation part and the matchup-specific part of using Poker Flourish. So I think it'd be really good to see how you adapt that to Valerie today.
It's a good transition. How are you going to adapt your Poker Flourishes to Valerie?
I haven't played that many good Valeries before. I think previously I've played Sage and the Mad King, and I've also played Sotek once or twice before. And the difference with Valerie is that she also benefits from block a lot, the same as Lum. So I probably can't use my standard strategy of blocking a lot in the early game in order to get a Poker Flourish. For Valerie, I'd probably use Poker Flourish for the straight flush, as I said, but if I can't get it, it would also depend on very much on what sort of hand I had and what strategy she used. Basically, there are two Valerie strategies I've seen. One goes for the big hand, and the other one goes for a rather smaller hand of around 5 or 6 cards, and using Q and A to keep herself from falling into a hole. And I probably have to see how it goes, I think.
Okay, good. That's thanks for that in-depth look into that.